What can you do to help set yourself up for success?
You're a voice actor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a VOPRENEUR. Welcome to the Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover.
Your voiceover demos are your #1 marketing tool, and you need to display them on your website in a way that works on any device or browser. VoiceSam is the player producers love. Plus, it offers tools that can improve your email signature, quickly create a one-page website, and much more. Sign up now at voicesam.com/markscott and get 3 months of the base player for the price of one. That's voicesam.com/markscott for full details and to sign up.
The VOPRENEUR podcast. Hey, it doesn't suck.
Not as funny as Conan. Not as cute as Seth Meyers. Not as smart as Colbert. But he's one of us, and that counts for something. Here's Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOPRENEUR.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Everyday VOpreneur podcast, your guide through the business of voiceover. I'm Mark Scott, the original Everyday VOpreneur, ready to once again give you some actionable, practical advice that you can put to work right now, today, to help you start growing your voiceover business. I want to thank you for listening wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Amazon Music. The podcast is everywhere. And of course, you can listen anytime at VOPRENEUR.com. I also want to say thank you for leaving your reviews. And if you haven't done it yet, it would mean a lot to me if you would take a minute to head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review, because your reviews and your ratings help other people to be able to find the podcast and grow their voiceover business as well. So it's the new year, January 2021. And at the time of recording this podcast, not only do we have the new beginning of a new year, but for a lot of people, celebrating a new start in their country with the inauguration of a new president. It's exciting times, and it's a time that we want to build on. We want to carry that positive energy and that positive momentum forward. So one of the things that everybody likes to talk about in January is how they are going to succeed. And I have done a series of podcast episodes leading up to the new year and kicking off the new year that give you some practical tips for that. And I want to carry that train of thought today with 2 steps to finding success, 2 things that I think that are essential for you to implement into your life and your business in order to achieve that success. So let's take the momentum of the new year, the promise of new goals and new excitement and new energy, and let's turn that into something. You know, on a daily basis, I coach with probably at least half a dozen voice actors. My schedule is pretty full, and every single one of them I'm working with on the same thing, which is to help them grow their business and improve their marketing. They come to me with questions, with problems, with challenges, with struggles, and I'm giving them practical advice. I'm giving them strategies and tactics that they can follow. I'm helping them sort through all of those different things that are confused in their head and trying to find clarity. Heck, I even offer courses that provide step-by-step roadmaps. Here's what to say. Here's what to do. Here's how to do it. Ultimately, with all the people that I'm coaching with, there is one thing that always rings true by the end. By the end, they know exactly what they need to do. So the question becomes, are they going to do it? Are you going to do it? If you want to be successful in your business, I think there's one really important question that you have to ask yourself. And it's this: are you willing to do what the successful voice actors before you have done? You got that? Write it down. Are you willing to do what the successful voice actors before you have done? Actually, when you write it down like this: am I willing to do what the successful voice actors before me have done? What I mean by that: are you going to keep coaching, keep taking courses, keep attending webinars, keep going to conferences, and keep asking the same questions over and over and over and over and over again in the Facebook groups, probably hoping for a different or easier answer? Or are you going to, as I like to say, hashtag, do the thing? Do what you already know you need to do, what you've always known that you need to do. A lot of times when I'm doing coaching sessions, a big part of those sessions is me reiterating to the talent that I'm working with that they already know what to do. They're coming to me with a clear strategy, with a clear plan, with the right tactics. More often than not, they just need me to reaffirm it for them, to build their confidence, to let them know that they're moving in the right direction. Now, when I ask the question, are you going to keep coaching, taking courses, attending webinars, going to conferences, all that sort of stuff, I want to be very clear about one thing. The coaching never stops. The learning and the growing never stops. But what I mean is, don't get stuck in a perpetual state of learning and allowing that to become an excuse or a crutch. Don't put yourself in a position where you're constantly saying, I can't get started because I don't know everything yet. I can't begin marketing because I still need to know X, Y, or Z. I can't begin marketing because I still need to get X, Y, or Z. I'm not ready yet because fill in the blank, what is the excuse that you're using today? If you're listening to this podcast right now and you've listened to the 90 plus episodes that have come before it, and hopefully you have, and if you haven't, VOPRENEUR.com, go start listening. But if you've listened to those episodes, the reality is you already know enough to be doing something. You already know enough to be getting started. You already have strategies and tactics that you could be and should be implementing. So are you? Have you? Are you willing to do what the successful people do? Will you, #do the thing? Are you doing the work? You know, it's really easy to look at other voice actors and, you see their accomplishments on social media. You see their credits. You jump over to their IMDb profile. You head over to their website and you look at their client list. You hear about, or maybe you imagine what their earnings are. It's also really easy to say that you want that success and that you dream of having that success. But it's easier than you may think if you're willing to model them. This is one of the keys to finding success in your business. You must be willing to do what they did, to do what they do. It's one thing to have all the information, and I'm guessing that you have a lot more information than you probably realize. It's another thing to do something with the information. And that's what sets the successful people apart. They do the thing. Are you going to do the thing? The other thing that I think is important in all of this, and we're talking about 2 steps to finding success. So let's say this is step number 2. Particularly earlier on in your career, I think it's really important that you got to find ways to build confidence. And this is not exclusive to new voice actors either. I should clarify that because, hey, we all come to points in our career where we lack confidence, where maybe we've built something, but we feel like we've plateaued, or maybe we built something great and now it's starting to decline and we're starting to lose confidence. It happens at all different stages in your journey. And so what I want to encourage you to do is find the little victories, the small wins that are going to build momentum towards the large wins, those things that are going to help you to boost your confidence. If you know what you need to do and you're willing to do it, let's look for ways to make it a little bit easier. So a great example of this, there are dozens upon dozens of genres of voiceover. And I know that the temptation is to try your hand at all of them. And often we think that we need to be great at all of them. We have to be prepared on any given day for any different type of job. And that said, it's virtually impossible to pull yourself in a dozen different directions and be truly successful at all of them. Here's an example in my own career. I am never going to be a video game guy. I think they're cool. I have massive respect for the people who do them. I stand in awe of the people who have those demos, and I listen to the voices and the characters that they've created, but I know that I'm not that guy. So I don't even give video games a second thought. It's not even on my radar. I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed about it. I don't feel like I'm missing opportunities in it because I know what my lane is, and I stick in my lane. Narrow your focus. Pick a couple genres you can really learn well and excel in those genres. Use those to build your foundation. Those are going to build your client base, the foundation of your client base. They're going to build the foundation of your income. They're going to be the foundation of your business. It makes more sense financially. It makes more sense to do it that way. Not everybody can afford to go out and buy a dozen different demos out of the gate, right? It also helps you to distribute your time in a more effective and productive way because, like I said, you can't divide yourself in a dozen different directions. It's also going to be easier to find those little victories and to build your confidence. So you pick a couple of genres that you can excel in, you build a client base, you get some income going, and then you can use that to fund whatever's coming next. So you're being strategic and focused rather than throwing yourself out there and trying to accomplish everything all at once. Be honest with yourself. That doesn't mean you're never going to be a video game person. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get to do characters or animation. It doesn't mean that you're never going to book that national commercial if you don't go for it right now. It just means that you're making a choice to be more strategic. You're making a choice to narrow your focus so that you can go after the little wins, so that you can start to build your confidence, so that you can move forward into all of those other things. Another great example that comes up all the time, social media. You do not have to sign up for every platform. Contrary to popular belief, contrary to what some people teach, you don't. Take the same approach. Give yourself time to establish yourself on a couple of social networks. Learn how to use them well. Master them. Build a habit of using them consistently. Make them work for you so that it becomes second nature. Build relationships. Build a client base. Start to make some money off of these platforms. And as your confidence grows, as you begin to experience more success, as it becomes second nature for you to create content and to consistently post on these platforms, then you can look into expanding in more platforms. So you take strategic steps. You don't just throw everything all at the wall at once and then see what is going to stick. If you're going to succeed, you're going to have to be intentional about setting yourself up for that success. And more often than not, it means laser focus, complete intention, and massive action towards a specific desired result or goal. Are you willing to do what the successful people do? Or are you willing to just watch from the sidelines, always wondering what if, always finding another excuse, always giving yourself a reason to not launch? You know what you've got to do. Go do the thing. Thanks so much for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.
The Everyday VOPRENEUR podcast. Available everywhere fine podcasts are given away for free. Mostly, we think.
If you're going to successfully direct market your voiceover business, one of the things that you are going to have to master is the art of the introductory email. That is the first email that you are going to send to any potential lead in hopes of finding opportunities to do voiceover work with them. I am going to be offering a special introductory email workshop coming up on February 16th from 7 until 9 p.m. Eastern. This workshop is limited to 10 people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to work with each one of the 10 participants on an individual basis and in a group setting to help you construct the perfect introductory email template. We're going to start by covering the basics of the introductory email, and then you're going to have an opportunity to draft an email, which I'm going to give you live feedback on. Then I'm going to give you an actual lead that you will write an email that you can send to by the end of the session. Once again, it's happening February 16th, 7 until 9 p.m. Eastern. It's limited to 10 people, and you can sign up at markscottcoaching.com. That's markscottcoaching.com.
And scene.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for hanging out. Want more VOPRENEUR goodness? Jump online at VOPRENEUR.com.